My dad would like to say a few words, followed by some solid friends of my mom, Mary Nontalizia and Beth Carlisle. From that point, we'd also like to open up the mic to anyone else who'd like to share a memory about my mom, a funny story. We also have the book outside for anyone who'd like to write down that memory as well. So thank you so much again.
All right, thank you for attending, everyone. I'm just blown away by the amount of support and love shown to Paula. I had the good fortune to be her husband for approximately 29 years. Next September 20th of 2022, we'll celebrate our 30th, and I definitely plan on celebrating that with my wife. And again, thank you all for joining us. So a brief story about how we met. It was through a mutual friend. And Paula came to my apartment. I was living outside of Cincinnati. I had on a Cincinnati Reds baseball cap, a t-shirt, and khaki shorts, and she had Gucci loafers, Yves Saint Laurent purse. And I was like, "Where are you going?" She said, "I'm coming to see you." And I said, you dress like this all the time?" She said, "I'm not dressed. I'm just making a good impression." So she and we would have phone conversations. This was before Facebook and what's the we would talk for hours on the phone, and we really formed a bond. So I was in the mode of kind of like the L word hadn't entered my frame of reference, and if it did enter it, it was accompanied by friendship and with the other L. But I wrote this letter to Paula over 30 years ago. You're a very special and spiritually beautiful, and also just plain old beautiful person who has, painful as it sometimes may be, helped and challenged me to articulate my true innermost feelings and thoughts. You are truly a blessing, and I feel very fortunate to have you in my life. I'm confident that we will continue to bring out the best in one another. Love and friendship, Jeff. So, as many of you know, Paula was an avid traveler, and one of the funniest, we've been many places, we've had the good fortune of traveling as a family to many destinations, but the funniest story I recall is we were in Sydney. Kelsey had a semester abroad in Sydney, and we were on a tour bus going through downtown Sydney, and I looked off to the left, and I saw this guy, and he seemed to tower over everyone, and I said, "That looks like James Harden." And it was, in fact, James Harden. And I said to Paula, "There's James Harden." She's like, "Who's that?" I said, "Oh, he only is a superstar for the Houston Rockets." And she said, "Go Rockets." And he turned and looked and smiled and waved his hand. And I'm like over in Sydney and someone's yelling, "Go Rockets." Paula's compulsiveness and seizing life at the moment, grasping at living, every aspect of it, 100 miles an hour, that was just part of her mentality. And I felt very fortunate to be part of that experience. She was a fashionista, a fashion queen. I heard there was a thread going around about what would Paula wear. There were looking to have those. And I had that same question, what would she wear? And also the statement about not wearing the same thing every day over a 3-year period. And I can attest to that now because I'm looking at it and saying, yeah, I remember that one. So her nicknames, Auntie Papa from her beloved nieces, PJ the DJ, sometimes I would call her, or just plain PJ. But yeah, I don't want to take up too much time here. I want to be able to circulate and greet folks. But it was gone but not forgotten. And like I said, I plan on September 20th of 2022 hoisting a glass of Prosecco in her honor to commemorate that special day. Thank you.
So I'll now invite Mary Nontalizia and Beth Carlisle, dear friends of my mom's, to say a few words. Thank you.
And I'm going to give Beth a hug. Well, I just wanted to say that I tried to put enough jewelry on, but Coco Chanel said, "Put your jewelry on and take one off." Well, Papa would have said, "Put more on." So, okay, almost enough. So Beth and I are standing here today because the three of us celebrated birthdays, holidays, and many other happy times together, laughing, dishing, and enjoying our friendship. These are some of the words used to describe Paula by her friends upon her passing. Beautiful, vibrant, stylish, determined, a mentor and bridge builder, generous, insightful, funny and kind, a loving, joyous soul, a shining presence, warm, bright, daring, and a great comfort. Who had a bigger heart, more style, or more zest for living than dear Paula? She was truly a remarkable person. And aren't we so very blessed to have shared mutual earth time together with such a dazzling woman as Paula? With much love, admiration, and gratitude, we wish you Godspeed. And I have a favorite poem by E.E. Cummings that really seems to fit. So, I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees, and a blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. I who have died am alive again today, and this is the sun's birthday. This is the birthday of life, and of love, and wings, and of the gay great happening, illimitably earth. How could tasting, touching, hearing, seeing, breathing any, lifted from the no of all nothing, human merely being, doubt unimaginable you. Now the ears of my ears awake, and now the eyes of my eyes are opened.
I am going to read a poem by our cousin Penelope Newcomb, written just 3 weeks ago for a family member. And it really spoke to us, and I hope it will to you. Last night, I dreamed I died, dead, my body far beneath me shed. I was awakened from my dream of life, this life which I have led, till now and all called my own, in dread of death, and love of life does seem not to have been mine at all. Not mine to keep, but mine to live, to use a while, then back to give to God, whose life it really is. Thank you.
Thank you everyone so much. At this point, we'll invite anyone who would like to share a memory or funny story about my mom at this point.
Thank you. So, my name is Olivia Wang. I've met Paula when she went to Rensselaer. Paula has the biggest heart. That's why we're all here. And she has a brilliant mind and an infectious laughter. I know that every one of us will remember her in our special way, because she is that special to each one of us. So I'm going to share with you for the last 3+ years how special she is to me. In addition to working at Rensselaer with her, she and I are also colleagues outside. Last year was the pandemic year, and you guys all know about Black Lives Matter and many other social issues. She cared about it a lot. So do I and my family. So my family members decided to do children's books. Early ed is fundamental, so we want to do children's books on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And Paula was the first one to write a foreword for those series of books. So I miss her tremendously, and we were going to keep going on to do more books. We had 6 books with my family members. And in the children's versions, Paula, the name is Paula. And she is the model because she was my inspiration. So, we're going to do the courses for education systems from early ed and all the school system all the way to higher ed, where she had the biggest influence. And we also said we're going to write a book together about collegial relationships in the workplace, about inclusion, diversity, and respect. So now I'm going to keep working on those while she watches over me. It's very hard to find someone who has so many interests like you. So both Paula and I love traveling. We were going to go to France last year, but the pandemic ruined it. I know some of you may be in our group to go together, so hopefully someday we'll still go together. And we both love art. And Paula, thank you for all those museum passes that we got to go. And we love fashion. Like Jeff said, she really is a fashionista. We always talk about fashion and jewelry. Everything I'm wearing right now, the whole outfit, she commented on those before. So I'm wearing those for her. We probably had 600 conversations over the 3-year span. But guess what? Most of those conversations, 98%, were about the people she loves and cares for. And sometimes they're you. And I just want to share the last week before she left Rensselaer, we had soup together. It was kale, lentil, and vegetable. And several important things she said was, where's Trent? Yeah. She was so proud of you for being so mature and so accomplished in a fast few years. So, and Jeff, Paula always cared about my relationship. So, and every time she mentions my relationship, she will always say, I am so fortunate to have Jeff as my husband, friend, and partner. And I always say, you guys are both fortunate. So, I know you miss her, and I do too. And Kelsey, when we were having soup, we watched your presentation together you did for school. She was so proud of you. So I enjoyed those memories. And in that week, she also wore a pin. She said it's from her mother. I complimented her. It's with freshwater pearls and shells as leaves. And I said, those were gorgeous. And she said, it's from my mother. And I said, oh, I'm a collector of pearl pins. And I just couldn't find out how to wear them. As you know, this is exactly like Paula. Oh, give them over to me. I'll wear them for her. So I went home. I found one of my collections, the largest cultured freshwater pearls. They're about 14 millimeter, 14 and 13. I was going to give this to her for Christmas. So now I'm going to give those to her. Actually, Kelsey. She knew my family well, and she cared my children's schooling, sports, which are swimming. Both of my kids swim, and they're both music lovers. And so thank you, Jeff. You and Paula were at my Juno's Titanic the musical. And Juno would have loved to come here, but he actually has practice today. So Alex and I are here representing our whole family. last 2 weeks had been really difficult for all of us, and we decided we're going to do something for Paula. So this is a book. It's going to be published next week. It's called Losing a Loved One. We're dedicating this book to Paula. And she will always be with us throughout those pages. This is our main character, Paula. So I'm so grateful to have her in my life, in our family's life, and I know you feel the same way. And I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Paula. We love you.
Thanks, Kelsey. Hi, everyone. My name is Terry Henry, class of 1981. I want to talk about Paula from a different perspective. Paula had the belief in the unlimited potential of human beings. And when you were with her, could you feel her vibratory resonancy, yes?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Paula was a mentor to me. She was 5 years older than I was. And I remember when she used to come down, I was a member of the Executive Committee Society of Alumni. We'd talk about the business of Williams, but she was an entrepreneur unlike I've ever seen. I'm more of a spiritual person, not as much religious, but there is a saying in Isaiah that says, before they call, I will answer. It reflects the fact that God anticipates our needs before we're aware or conscious of them, right? And I grew up in a family of 2 brothers. Paula was my sister. And you don't know the feeling when one day you wake up and you discover that what you've always wanted is right there. This was the magical aspect of knowing Paula. And the thing I love about her is her truth. Paula's truth shined through whether or not you wanted to hear it. Are you with me? Paula was like the internet, a disruptive technology. She was like mobile technology. She was like electric cars. She was constructively disruptive in everything that she did. How could you not love her? Because she always pushed us, she always pushed me as her brother to be everything that I could be, and she was so selfless. And I have to tell you guys, she absolutely adored Jeff, Kelsey, and Trent. I mean, she bequeaths to you an energy that you guys can share with the rest of the world, and it's going to be much more exponential the way you play it out. But I just want to thank everyone for hearing me out on my perspective on Paula. She was absolutely amazing. I won't miss her because I feel her spirit here, and she'll always be with me. Thanks.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge Paula's service. I'm Dale Reel, class of 72, director of the Williams Club in New York City. Paula was on our board for some 20 years, and she was, you said much more, much better than I would say, but whenever I had a problem, I called her. And she was this fantastic reservoir of just searing pragmatic advice, but sympathetic pragmatism. Searing intelligence, creative solutions, of course, a delight to speak to, but just so smart, so useful to speak to, so helpful, and with such broad knowledge of college relations. She was an amazing person. So personally, I'll miss those conversations that were invariably like at 8 o'clock at night. And but the club respects very much all her time that she devoted to us and the insights and help. So anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Go ahead and resume at this point, unless anyone else would like to speak. There is a memory book right outside the door if anyone wants to take a card, sit at a table, and write down the memory of my mom's. And we invite you, of course, to stay as long as you'd like. There's food, water, beverages, everything. So again, really appreciate each and every one of you for being here from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Oh, yeah.
Hi everyone, Letitia Haynes, and I've known Paula for over 20 years. I first met her as a, let me just sit down. Met her as a student at Williams, and she really helped many students, including me, get through this place, as we like to say. As an alum, Paula has this way of making you think you're the only person who wants to talk to her. So I call, leave a message, and she called me back 3 days later. And I know she was busy because Paula's the kind of person that can bring people together like no other. I mean, the fact that there's a person standing outside in the parking lot of the Williams Inn directing traffic for that's Paula, right? I said only Paula could do this in Williamstown. She was Auntie Paw, or is Auntie Paw to my kids, my 3 children. We live in Williamstown. And they know and love her. She would, to the fashion piece, every time she came, she'd leave some glasses or something there. Girl, don't worry about it, you know, like, Paula, you left your glasses. She's like, I'll get them next time I come down. She was gonna be the lifeguard for my kids and watch them when they're swimming. And she just never could stop. I said, Paula, you need to relax. Like, she would come over, let me help you with the burger buns. No, sit down, sit down. And she said, you know what, when I retire, let me hire me as a nanny and I'll take care of your kids. And I'm like, just relax. But she would call a spade, and in the nicest way. I feel like she had this air about her that she was just respectful, even if she's like, that's not right. But she said, but you know what, it'll be okay. And that's really rare. So I miss Paula, I love her. I talked to her, the day before she got sick, and she's here. I think about her every day. She loved y'all to death. She's always talking about Asheville, Eastern Side. Trent got the Audi, and let me tell you this about it's an Audi, right? Yep. So when Kelsey, it must have been on your trip abroad or something. She says to me, "Girl," she called me just for this. I think she said, "Girl, like Kelsey she has my bag." I said, "Well, Paula, do you miss it?" I said, "Did you know she had it? How'd you find it?" "It's on Facebook." I said, "Well, Paula, but you probably didn't even miss it." She said, "Well, I didn't know till I saw it." That's because you have so many. I said, you taught her well. So I know we all love Paula, and she's gonna be with all of us. And she again, this is her. When you said, "Where are we gonna do this?" This is a faculty club, Williams. I said, the Williams Inn, because it's swanking new. This is all Paula. So, we're here for you always, and to anyone else who ever wants to come together and reminisce about Paula. So thank you. Sorry.
As a classmate of Paula's, I thought we should have the dancing purple cows. She obviously had something to do with the most practical gift I got at a reunion. I use it every day at the gym when I swim, and I think there's a lot of Paula in the humor of this reunion. Thank you.
So I think among the many unique gifts that Paula possessed, one was the attention to detail and memory. She had a special knack for being able she would meet someone for half an hour and see them a year later and pick up right where they left off in that previous conversation. How are your kid got into Northeastern, your daughter's still working for IBM. Yes, how'd you know that? I just retained it. And she would say to me, "Jeff, you remember at the executive council function in Florida in 2010, you sat with Felix and you talked about fishing and going." It's like, he had on a yellow tie, a Pittsburgh So, and I think a lot of that rubs off on Kelsey. She has that attention to detail. Yeah. So, again, thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.